Hello, BookTube. Well, it's a Saturday. I hope that everyone's Saturday is going well. Um, I wanted to make a video today talking about uh, my my TBR, considering the fact that it is March 1st, and we've got a whole a whole month in front of us, and I have a couple of reading goals, and it's a busy month. It's a busy month not just for me, but I think for most people on BookTube. March is a pretty heavy hitter in terms of all the events that are going on, and in terms of all of our reading goals kind of converging around larger and more imposing books with the March of the Mammoths. So I'm excited, and I wanted to kind of go over on this first of the month what my reading goals are and what I'm hoping to read this month. So before I do that, I wanted to mention that I am touched and extremely grateful for the responses that I've already been getting to my previous videos, and specifically the book giveaway that I'm doing. I really am touched that a couple of people have reached out already and asked me to send them. In this case, it was Julian by Gore Vidal. So that book is no longer available. As a reminder, in my last two videos, I picked this Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. So if you want this, let me know. I'll send it to you. Same thing goes for Marilyn Robinson's Gilead. And I'm just picking these at random, pretty much. But this one, for today's video, was not random. I picked Zeno's Conscience by Italo Svevo in honor of the upcoming Zachary Leader book, Elman's Joyce, which I'm really looking forward to. That'll be 2 months from now. I have such a hard time getting my hands on new books just because they're really, really expensive typically. But I will be reading that hopefully this year. And I'm really looking forward to it. I remember it was years ago that I read Elman's Joyce in the horrible paperback. That is just one of the worst paperbacks ever made. So if you have a hardcover, let me know. Let me know what would induce you to send that to me. But I need to reread that. And I don't think that's going to be this month, but I do need to reread Elman's Joyce to refamiliarize myself with that. I do remember it being a pretty incredible biography, although at the time when I was reading it, I was a different reader. And so I also, if I'm going to be honest, remember being quite bored by it. But I was a different reader then, and I even looking back over the memories that I have of reading that, am able to contextualize a lot of things that I wasn't able to contextualize before when I was reading it, which, happens. And it's part of the reason why I almost never, at least now, just out of turn, reject or ignore a genre or a type of writing, just period. Because I've found that the more you know about something, the more entertaining and the more interesting it becomes. And obviously that's not any sort of profound insight, but it is true. Because you can read a book. I remember I need to reread it precisely because of what I'm talking about. Eamon Duffy's book, The Stripping of Altars. I read that. I tried to read that maybe 2 years ago, and I was bored to tears by it. And now, looking back over what I was reading, I really desperately want to reread it or read the whole thing this time, because now I know so much more about the topic. And so now, all of a sudden, all the things that I was bored by, I'm now extremely interested in, because if you don't know, that book is about the Reformation, and it's a piece of I think Eamon Duffy refers to it as revisionist history. Just him pushing back against a lot of the critical consensus about the state of the Catholic Church at the time of the Reformation, which at the time that I was reading it, I had no opinions about. I didn't know what he was talking about, and to be honest, I don't even know why I was reading it. But now that I have a lot of books of the Reformation under my belt, that's fascinating to me. And so it's just a perfect example of the fact that if you know more about a subject, it becomes more interesting. And so, in terms of the Ellman biography, now that I've read more biographies and now that I'm more familiar with how biographies go and whatnot, I'm sure that I will enjoy it more on a reread, and then I will definitely, whenever I can, get a hold of that Zachary Leader book. It's very cool. Books about books are, I think, I certainly don't think it's particular to me. I think a lot of readers love them. I certainly love them. It's sort of being like if you were into, I don't know, music, and you would like any sort of thing about, music. A book about books is a book that necessarily talks about the love of reading and the appreciation that we all have for a really good book, a really well executed book, and how much that can mean in terms of your reading life, and in terms of how much that can affect your even outlook on the world. So I'm very excited about that, and in honor of that, I'll give away Zeno's Conscience by Italo Zevo there. So let me know any of those books, Zeno's Conscience, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, or Gilead by Marilyn Robinson. And again, I'm trying to do this every day, so there'll be a new one on the pile tomorrow. Okay, so in terms of my TBR for this month, I recently came into a stack of Penguin Classics, which is awesome. I've had some of these for a little while, but most of them I've gotten very recently at my used bookstore, and they're in perfect condition, and they were great finds, and I'm excited to read all of them. So well, yeah, let's just do that now. So the one is Boethius, The Consolation of Philosophy. The next one is Thomas More's Utopia. Then John Reed, The 10 Days That Shook the World. And my single sad entry for fiction this month, Lawrence Stern, The Life and Opinions of Tristram Shandy. Yeah, I mean, I like all of these. I cannot wait to read most of them. These two are obviously really short. But I did that intentionally because this month, outside of the Getaway, which I will be reading probably first, I have my Mammoth, which was, as I said in a previous video, Trotsky, the history of the Russian Revolution. And so I'm kind of shooting for a manageable goal this month. I don't want to shoot for something that I can't do or be disappointed if I don't make it. So I just grabbed the books that I was the most excited to read, and two of them are quite short. Actually, three of them are quite short because The Getaway is quite short as well. But I will be very excitedly reading all of these. And it's part of the reason why I love studying history so much, because in the case of Thomas More's Utopia, I probably never would even consider that interesting or something worth reading. I remember being told about it in high school. I don't remember why or what the context was. That is an interesting question. What was the unit in high school that we were covering? Was it the Reformation? I mean, I don't know. What was the context that people were bringing up Thomas More's Utopia, or my history teachers were bringing up Thomas More's Utopia. I cannot remember, but I certainly knew about it, and obviously I'm fairly certain you do as well. Um, but it's one of those books that it's not like Frankenstein or Romeo and Juliet or something where we were actually reading it in high school, or at least it was a famous enough book, a readily available enough book that you would read it, just in the matter of your reading life or whatnot. Like, this is a book that I probably never would have thought twice about, but then I started reading about the Reformation, and all of a sudden Thomas More became this really interesting historical figure. And this book and its context and its relationship with Erasmus, who I've mentioned like 4 times on this channel already, is extremely interesting as well. He helped get Utopia published, and so yeah, I'm definitely excited to read it, and take my time with it, because even though these books are short, and the Constellation of Philosophy is also short, these are really nice additions in the Penguin Classic, and there's a reason I have them. I have them because I want to sit with them and read them, and most of my Penguin Classics I'm going to hold on to, because I love them, and they're just intensely satisfying for me to read from. So even though they're short, I don't plan on blasting through them in any way. And then John Reed, 10 Days That Shook the World. This has been on my TBR forever. I just recently got a copy of it. I'm going to be reading, obviously, Trotsky, and so this is obviously very much related to that. And there's a movie called Reds that is like a dramatization of John Reed and his life. And so I'm going to watch that movie after I'm done reading this book. My only question is whether or not I should read this before or after I read Trotsky. I don't know. I kind of really want to read it right now, so I don't know. But I also want to dive into Trotsky. I don't know. We'll see. And then this I'm really hoping I enjoy. I think I will. I don't see why I wouldn't. But Tristram Shandy, because I've been reading so much nonfiction recently, and so a nice kind of big novel like this in a Penguin Classic, again, perfect condition. I'm so happy to find this in my used bookstore. Snatched it up right away, and I can't wait to read that too. So this is going to be a great month for me. If I read all these books, I will have a great month. Hopefully, I'll do a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, we've got. I'm definitely looking forward to it, and obviously, so far making YouTube videos has been a joy and a pleasure. Thank you for sticking with me during this process, because I'm not exactly a professional at doing this, but it has been nevertheless already an extremely positive experience, and already I've gotten so much joy out of being able to communicate with people over email, especially when they express interest in one of the books. I'm absolutely happy to send them. So let me know if you want Xenos Conscience, and I'm excited for this month, and I'm excited to keep making videos. So thank you, BookTube. Bye bye.